guess I'm here to talk about ice cream at happy hour. I think this is good. You know, as you guys are builders, we know how hard it is. So I was just in the construction breakout. I think we need to pause for a second. I was here last year and just give a shout out to all the builders who freaking build in this entire hard environment. So if you're a builder, stand up. How many builders do we have in the room? Construction people. You guys won't want to stand up? Guys, give us, yeah, here we go. They're usually less shy after 2 more drinks. My experience with our head of construction is by far the biggest drinker. He never eats ice cream and never wants to hang out with anybody in our company. So, guys, it's happy hour. I want to encourage interaction. The Museum of Ice Cream is not an ice cream shop. So who's been there? Okay, what is it? It's an interactive experience. Oh my God, it's the word we hear all the time in our industry, right? We need our restaurants, we need our stores to be interactive, immersive. We're gonna get into that. We're 8 years, we started this monster, the Instagrammable space. It's literally my worst fucking thing. I hate that word more than anything. We are the most Instagrammed place in the world by square feet. And that's something I am not proud of. It helps our business, but it is actually a curse because now we have to convince our customers of why we actually do what we do and why this exists. And I'll tell you a little bit about my background, which is not ice cream. I can promise you, my parents, my Indian immigrant parents, did not pay for me to go to college and grow up in America to put Museum of Ice Cream on their business card. My dad was mortified. He said, go back to Wall Street. But I was building things in the art world, inaccessible, trying to make it accessible, and what's more accessible in the world than ice cream? So with that, guys, I want to make this a little interactive. It's happy hour, so can we all stand up now? Everyone stand up. So why do we exist? First, how are we spending time? So here, when I say something that you guys really love, you're gonna sit down, okay? So who here, it's an election year, loves watching the news? And we're in Austin and Texas, so it could be Fox News. I'll let that slide. Not for me, but who here likes watching news? Sit down if you love watching the news. Okay, not many people. All right, it looks like this is, especially the construction people, we know you guys are big Instagram and TikTokers. So who here loves social media? Makes them happy? Okay, I see the millennials. We see you. We see these millennial builders. I like it. Okay, we only have a few. Okay, who here finds that their phone brings real joy? Stay sitting. You can stay sitting. Who here finds joy from their phone? Sit down. Wow. Nobody likes playing games. We got nobody. Anyone? Sit down. Oh, you read books. Okay. She loves her books. Okay. So we got one person who loves their phone. So we are spending how much time? We're spending, on average, 4 hours on our phone, an hour a day on news, 2 hours a day on social media. So we're at 7 hours. Times 7, that's 49 hours. We could spend a long weekend. We could go to the Museum of Ice Cream 45 times. So now, who here loves ice cream? Sit down. All right, well, you don't all have to sit down. We have a couple. We have some vegans in the house. All right, so you don't love ice cream. We got 5 out of 150, so we're at 4%. Who here love, and this is a trick question because we're at RetailSpaces and restaurant spaces here. Who here loves going to restaurants? Sit down. Okay, are we at 1? Are you the last man standing? What do you like doing? We have 2? What do you love doing in the world? Meditating, great. You can sit down, and I love meditating. What about you? Getting outdoors. Perfect, okay. Well, we definitely need some more meditation. We probably need more meditation and more going outdoors than ice cream. But this little mini experiment here is that we're spending all of this time, and this is ultimately what we all are doing here. What we're doing is trying to monetize time, and this topic is going to be more and more important. You're going to hear more and more about monetization of time in the coming years, and that's because of AI, right? And we think AI in the conversation is going to be most interesting because it will bring more time. And what does that mean? I think we are best positioned, us in this room, to be the future. We're already seeing it today. Something we talked about in that breakout is that we're getting talent from all over. We just hired the CFO from WeWork. Sorry for all the people who got busted by WeWork. But we have only 5 employees out of 250 people who come from the entertainment location-based experiences. 5 people. And so there's an opportunity here. And 2 years ago, during the middle of COVID, we were all like, fuck, we chose the wrong industry. Tech is booming. Everyone's like, our companies are near bankruptcy for the founders in the room. We are near bankruptcy. We had to shut down. I had 6 leases. We're getting absolutely crushed. And ice cream survives. Why? So what is it? What is it about ice cream? What is it about ice cream and experiences that are keeping people? What is it? It's sugar crashing for your children, for sure. What else? Happiness. What else? Childlike? Childhood. It's about tapping into childhood. It's nostalgia. What else? Comfort. Indulgence. Celebration. And it's tasty. We didn't have to convince anybody that Museum of Ice Cream is something interesting because there's only 5 people in the room who don't love ice cream. 5 people, right? So we didn't have to convince anyone. And so, but we had to convince people that we needed a new form of experience, that we were going to disrupt the ice cream experience with nothing that novel. We took influence from art experiences, from the ice cream shop itself. We took influence from immersive theater. And we started off in saying, hey, our biggest challenge is not convincing you guys to like ice cream, but for you all for us as adults, to actually loosen up, right? To loosen up. So we're gonna do a very quick experiment here. How am I doing on time? I got 18 minutes, great. First thing you do in the Museum of Ice Cream, who's been there again, who hasn't spoken, is you remember your ice cream name. Do you happen to remember it? You're Key Lime? Key Lime Divine? I like it, and you still remember it. When did you go to the museum? When did you go? 2 years ago, and he still remembers his ice cream name. So I think it's, what's your name again? Lou? Lou from Solid Core. Lou, you definitely are doing more Solid Core than eating ice cream. You look great, FY. So you've got the memo. But 2 years ago, he went to the museum. He still remembers ice cream name. So here's what we're going to do, guys. We have a little ability. You have to get rid of your old names, right? We have to take a new identity because we have to think like a kid again. And how do kids think? They are open to connection. They're open to new experiences. They will eat as much ice cream as you put in front of them. We're not worrying about what we're going to feel like tomorrow morning. I'm basically dairy intolerant. Don't put it on the video. It's not public knowledge, especially after 8 years of doing this. So we made a little generator for you guys, which is going to, you're going to take, I need a volunteer who hasn't spoken here. Right here? Okay, stand up here. You're going to tell me your first name? Anne. So you are Anne Red Velvet, and what is your birth month? November. So you are Red Velvet Delight? Guys, everyone, let's welcome Anne, who is now Red Velvet Delight. Everyone on the count of 3, give it a cheers. Okay, all right, so quickly find 2 or 3 people next to you guys. Introduce yourself as your ice cream name. And for Red Velvet Delight, why are you a delight? Why are you a Red Velvet? What does Red Velvet and Delight speak to you in your personality or in your work? Are you, what did you say? Are you a delightful personality? Sometimes. Okay, you guys, introduce yourselves. Ice cream names. All right, guys. I can tell which tables have had more drinks because they're much more social. Or just more fun. You might be the Delight. You might be Red Velvet Delight. You might have stolen her name. You're Velvet. Oh my God, there's a rivalry right here. We're gonna bring you on stage and we'll have an ice cream battle. So why do we do this? Why do we make people leave their names? What is it about our adulthood that prevents us from enjoying life? What do you think it is? Responsibility. Fuck responsibility. It sucks. What else? Routine. Our jobs. We have to go to conferences and talk about work at 6 o'clock, even with a cocktail. This is your worst nightmare as a college kid. There was no point where we're talking about, if your friends in college and happy hour were like, let's talk about our biology test today, you would have punched them in the face. This is what we have to do every day. We like work over drinks. Taxes. Taxes, horrible. What else? Adulting in general, right? And this is what it is, right? What we've done is, ultimately, this is a museum of icebreakers. And that's what ice cream is, right? Every time you go to an ice cream shop, you're spending $8. It's now half the price of a Big Mac, apparently. There's no McDonald's people on the controversy. Apparently, it's $18 for a Big Mac. But for $8, you can get 2 scoops in New York. It's maybe $14. But for $8, you can have this experience. And Gen Zers and 20-somethings and teens are going to ice cream shops. And they were lined up out the door. They were out the door. In 2016, the same problem that we're seeing today is that we saw adults who were attached to their phones. This is 8 years ago. Attached to their phones, not going to things, not connecting. And it's worse after the pandemic. It's worse than ever. And frankly, it's not as bad as it is, in my opinion, for the 18 to 25 crowd. It's now actually our age. It's the 25 to 45, 25 to 50. Now we're attached to our phones. And these kids went to the pandemic and are like, I want to be outside. I want to meditate. I want to go to Burning Man. You know, they are doing things. But in what we started 8 years ago was this movement, and there have been now thousands of experiences that have come. Museum of everything. So we've created a monster. And we were the first. We were the first to do this, but it was just a flip of the museum and the ice cream model. We are now seeing over 1 million visitors a year this year. We are, as we said, we have had 10 out of the 20 biggest social media influencers in the world. That's Beyonce, our halftime performer Usher, and Kim Kardashian. Unfortunately, I was on the show, one of not my highlights of my life. But all of those people came without us paying, without us inviting them, organically. We've had Katy Perry come twice this year, unannounced, with Orlando Bloom, because she loves the Museum of Ice Cream. So what is it, right? Why are we doing this? Why does this work? And why are we seeing entertainment as a new anchor often for these developments? You guys are seeing, as your neighbors, instead of restaurants, instead of Macy's, you're seeing places like us replace this. You're seeing social sporting and location-based entertainment. Everything from all the mini golf and the things and the bowlings, and all these things are starting to emerge in much greater percentages in these large-scale developments, because this is the new anchor. And we actually believe in the next 10 to 20 years, we're going to see entertainment and physical and analog entertainment as something that's going to actually be a huge industry. Don't get dissuaded by the digital projection stuff that went like this. I don't know if you guys went to the Van Goghs and the Monets and the Monets. It's shit. It is absolute shit, but it worked once for a date, and you're like, oh, I spent $30 to watch a digital screen. It's worse than my projector at home. But those things went bankrupt really fast, right? So, and we had a lot of our industry go bankrupt. But experiences are going to be your partners for a long time, because we're the drivers. We are the #1 traffic driver over the Apple Store in the Domain. We're in Soho on Broadway between Prince and Spring, in the heart of New York City. And we and the Nike store have the highest traffic by far. We're seeing 500,000 visitors a year in that box. And we don't even allow public access to the museum because we don't have enough capacity in that museum to let people into the retail store. We're seeing 500,000 visitors in that museum. And our same store growth was over 18% in 2023 when our industries were flat to down. So there's something happening here, and we're 8 years in, and we're still seeing this kind of growth when everyone says the decline curve is going to be massive in entertainment. So for those of you guys who haven't seen it, if we can hit the volume, I think I just pressed this button. I'm going to give you a little preview here of what we are.
Ice cream. The Museum of Ice Cream.
Museum of Ice Cream.
This Museum of Ice Cream.
Popular Museum of Ice Cream.
Museum
of ice cream. Everything in it is ice cream themed. The artwork, there's actual ice cream, and it's very popular. Tickets are sold out for I don't know how. It's like the Hamilton of museums.
The ice cream museum is just super cool. It's like something different to do in town.
Museum of Ice Cream?
We did.
What is that?
It's a museum.
Do you get to have
where they serve you ice cream in every single room, and there's a slide, and it's probably like the closest thing to going to Willy Wonka's factory.
Okay, we can all cheer for ice cream right now. Yay! We love ice cream. Even the 5 people who won't be invited back next year who don't like ice cream. It was actually a higher percentage than I've ever seen. It's typically like 2 people. So 5 has crushed my soul. Let's see here. Okay, so they wanted me to walk through some critical components of the principle of what we do. And there's basically 6 components of what we're trying to accomplish, which is I love puns. It makes me, I get really a lot of excitement, a lot of fulfillment. I love mint chocolate chip. Connection. That's the key to our business. Is that ultimately what you guys did, introducing yourselves to ice cream, it's that simple. We are not interacting with humans anymore. We can go in almost any city in America and we can order our food, order our groceries. We can never leave the house. This is the biggest challenge. We don't have to go to the office. Our office market, I live in Austin now, it's decimated downtown. It's not coming back. Downtown is a disaster from an office standpoint. And we have to figure out ways to keep people, for us to stay in business, we need to continue to get people back in. And it ultimately is about connection. It's gonna be a lot of meditation, a lot of yoga for us to get back, and a lot of turning off our phone. So we're gonna talk about exploration, activating our senses, play, returning to childhood, and education. So this to us is the infinity. What we did was really onboard you to the experience, is that we have an onboard. We have actors and guides throughout the experience who we train to bring you through this series of icebreakers, starting with your ice cream name. Then it's a journey of exploration. We actually emotional map our museums. So we're looking at the exhibits and figuring out how do we take you through a journey that will actually make you warm up to the idea of being a kid. We always say that the Museum of Ice Cream, we have 100%, 99.999% satisfaction rate with your kids. The kids love it. The museum was not even designed for the kids. We had to actually go back after the first 5 pop-ups and redesign everything. As you guys know as builders, our things were built for adult height. And now 25% of our audience are coming as children, but still our average age is 26 years old. It's a 26-year-old female who really drives our business, or a 32-year-old, 35-year-old mom. And it's us winning the adults that has won our business, because our business is about utilization. It's about how do we transform our experience at 10 a.m., which is our peak time because moms with kids are coming. And our second peak is at 3 o'clock after school. And our biggest peak is at 6 o'clock after work because we're one of the biggest date spots. So we have this long utilization that allows us to have higher throughput, and hence why we are one of the biggest anchors in these developments, and are now the anchor of the Chicago Tribune. We're opening in Miami World Center. We're opening at the Boston Seaport this year. And then we're opening our 2 flagships, our 2 newest flagships in LA and Vegas in the next 24 months. So exploration, we're taking you on a journey, activating our senses. This is about how we savor the experience, and thinking about every touch point is a touch point of thinking about not just your taste, not just about play, not just about photos. It's about what are you touching, what are you smelling, what are you hearing, and how do we make these things taste better, even with breath, with meditation, with things that we're using from the study of presence and happiness. One of the things that is really unknown is that we spent years working with docents, working with professors at Yale on the study of happiness. Now I teach a guest lecture at UT on their happiness class, and thinking about what are the things that are driving happiness, because for us to sustain, we are not going to sustain Instagram has already changed, right? It's no longer a flat image. It changed. Now it's TikTok. Now TikTok's going to get banned, and it's going to be some like AI crazy thing that we don't know. Social media is not the driver of our business, even though, again, we are the most social media in the venue in the world by square foot, and it certainly helps our acquisition costs. But only 6% of our audience comes because of social media. No child is coming to the Museum of Ice Cream because of Instagram, right? And it's about play. We are delivering play. We're not delivering ice cream. In fact, one of our biggest initiatives is to improve our food and the food experience and the uniqueness of our food, because what we really leaned into in the original part of this experience was about play. I had no food and beverage background. My co-founder, we have no F&B background. We had to learn F&B, and it's freaking hard, and it's harder to build F&B, as you guys know. Food and beverage building is so much harder. It's becoming harder and harder. And one of the things that I say is actually the play part is the easier part of the build than for us the food and beverage part. And this is another place where we are looking, and when I look long-term as a person who will be building experiences all over the world for the next 10 years, to me the biggest thing as an industry we need to do is to have the same clout that technology and Amazon's and the social media companies have to influence cities to make our permitting easier, faster, to be more partners instead of being enemies often with our cities that are making it harder for us to build, and the costs have just gone up, as you guys know. And then the return to childhood. I think somebody over here said this, right? That's one of the key components of the museum, is that ultimately, what are we delivering in our experiences? Is it actually food? Is it actually shopping? Because if it is just food and it is just shopping, your customers can do it better at home. And that's as simple as the experience is. We've seen this with the department stores. There are department stores that survived. When you go to London and you study Selfridges and you see great department stores, it's hospitality, it's design, it's the scent, it's the greeting. They're nailing the same things and they're not going bankrupt, right? It's the same business model. It hasn't changed one bit. They never got to online. They never did this, that, and the other. It's about hospitality, and for us, and about play, and when you're talking about experiences, for us, the key is returning to your childhood, because that's going to allow you guys our customer to keep coming back. Because children keep flushing out. We will have customer demand from your kids for the rest of eternity. And I'm going to win. We always win with kids. My passion, the reason I am building experiences in the world, the reason I'm standing up here is to motivate us all to build for adults. Nightlife, restaurants, these things are boring. We need to change. We need to change even social experiences. The fact that mini golf and bowling are still hot commodities. We got to find new games. I got into pickleball. It's bad, I know. I'm really into it. We're about to build a pickleball experience. It's probably going to die. But whether it's pickleball or any game, it's about the socialness. Pickleball is not a better game. It's a social game. That's why pickleball is winning right now. Very passionate about the social elements of pickleball. I understand nobody wants to talk about it. Who here plays pickleball? Yeah, we got a lot of. None of you guys played pickleball 2 years ago. I can promise you that. Did anybody play pickleball 2 years ago? Okay, that's point taken. I hope there's no pickleball concepts here. Okay, great. And then education. This is one of the esoteric things is actually our customers don't necessarily say they want education, but when we deliver education, when we deliver some sort of useful knowledge, the ratings go up off the charts. And there's studies around this, around the psychology of humans, is that you will never get in your pre-customer survey data that they want to be educated. And no matter how much we try, the children definitely don't want to be educated. But we actually are trying. It's one of our biggest challenges, trying to find ways to deliver information in a place of space that, because we know that your NPS scores, we know our customer satisfaction is going to be higher with education. The other thing that's the most interesting test that we've done over and over the 8 years is that we have tested banning phones in the experience on certain time slots, and our scores for those experiences when people put away their phones was 25 to 50% higher in terms of their satisfaction in the customer experience. It's obvious. They're connected. They're playing. You did not have a phone when you were playing like a kid. You do not have a phone when you're playing pickleball, right? We have a phone now when we're doing yoga. We have a phone now when we're meditating even. We're getting distractions all the time. If we can remove distractions in our experiences, we see that we can gain a customer for life. So This is our immersive museum where everyone plays like a kid and eats unlimited ice cream together. That's what I got for you guys. I hope we can eat some ice cream together, keep building, keep networking and connecting. And finally, big shout out, thank you. Big shout out to RetailSpaces, RetailSpaces, the whole conglomerate. You guys are doing an amazing job. Every year I come here because I want to be here. Not only do I love that they come to Austin, which I moved from New York City, but because of these connections and this network. I met last year the head of design from Chick-fil-A, and we've been doing cross field trips with our teams. And I think it's incredible. So if your design teams, if you guys want to visit, just contact me. I'll set you guys up in any of our cities. And Miami this summer in July is going to be the next generation in the museum. So we hope you guys come and check us out in any of our locations around the world. Thank you very much.
Manish Vora, thank you so much.